So Reebok is finally releasing a shoe with a carbon plate in it, and it also has TPU foam as well as a little bit of P-backs in there as well. This is my first experience with a Reebok shoe, so I've done a couple runs in it and I'm ready to give you my first impressions. So it seems like Reebok hasn't officially released this shoe, or at least I haven't seen any like press releases or marketing or anything for it, yet it just showed up on their website one night and it was even 35% off, so I was like, might as well try it at that price, and here we are. So without a ton of press information stuff, I kind of had to look for some of the specs and stuff, but this is what I found. I believe that the stack height in the heel is 30 millimeters with 24 in the forefoot. Not 100% sure on that though. It does, however, have a 6 millimeter drop and weighs 9.1 ounces in a men's size 9. And I put this shoe in the plated trainer/racer category. So another thing that's pretty strange about this shoe is that it's only available in full sizes and only available up to a men's size 12 in the US. So a very limited number of sizings, and I think that's pretty strange. Luckily I am a men's size 12, so it's a full size and it's their biggest size. So I was able to try the shoe on and I thought it fit true to size. However, if you are one of those half sizes, like an 11.5 say, I would probably recommend going down half a size, so picking up the 11 instead of the 12, just because I think that there is a little extra length in it where you would be happier going down half a size instead of up half a size. One thing that I did think was kind of weird about the fit was that the ankle collar and the tongue came up really high around my ankle, so if you're like me and wear no-show socks, then you could get some rubbing in that area. Speaking of the upper, let's go ahead and dive into the shoe overview. So the upper uses their flex weave material, which has a third recycled materials, which is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of the material that is used on the Vaporfly Next% 2 upper. It does have a gusseted tongue in there as well to give you a nice booty feel. The majority of the midsole is made out of the Floatride Energy foam, which is TPU foam that reminds me of Saucony's Power Run Plus that they use in shoes like the Triumph. In the forefoot, it gets a little more interesting. So encased inside of the TPU Floatride Energy foam is a 4-foot carbon plate. And I've read somewhere that there's actually a slab of Floatride Plus foam between the plate and the outsole that is surrounded by the TPU foam. The Floatride Plus is their high-end P-backs foam, so you get a carbon plate and some P-backs foam in the forefoot. However, I've not been able to confirm that the Floatride Plus is actually in there. However, it feels softer up front for me, so I would believe it if that's true. For the outsole, there's actually quite a bit of coverage with rubber that has just some cutouts for a little bit extra flexibility and some tiny knobs on it. So this isn't a full review. I haven't put this through all the paces, but I have done a couple runs in it so far, and they've gotten up to a little higher pace, kind of more progression run, and then the second run was a little easier, just kind of my everyday training mileage pace. And I found a couple of things. So one was when I was going a little bit slower, I was landing a little bit further back in the heel, and I thought it was a lot firmer feeling, but with that firmer foam, it does have a wider platform, and I thought that that did a good job of making a more stable shoe compared to a lot of the carbon plated shoes have super foam that are super soft and unstable in the heel. However, when I did start to pick up the pace and I was running more on my forefoot, I got a much better feeling. It felt a lot bouncier, more livelier, got the nice propulsion from the plate and that rocker in there. So I did really enjoy this for some more up-tempo paces, and I think that's the sweet spot where the shoe excels. So this may be their kind of top-of-the-line carbon-plated racer at the moment, but I don't think it's necessarily a shoe that I'm going to be wearing when I'm trying to get a PR, but instead just as an up-tempo trainer. Alright, and I'm going to do a couple of quick comparisons with the Floatride Energy X. And the first shoe I'm going to compare it to is the New Balance Fuelcell TC. So I actually think that these two shoes have a lot in common. I think that they're both good plated up-tempo trainers that would be great companions to like a real super shoe for race day. I think you can race in these shoes, and there'll be people that really like these shoes for racing in. But for me, I prefer something a little faster. Anyways, I think that the biggest difference between these shoes is the upper. I like the little more secure and kind of padded upper of the TC. And then I'm a huge fan of Fuelcell. I like those really soft, really bouncy foams and the full plate in there as well. So I pick the TC over the EnergyX. However, if you are a person that doesn't like how soft Fuelcell foam is, I think you would like this shoe. Next up, I'm comparing it to the Endorphin Speed and the Endorphin Pro. So I think use cases and kind of price-wise, I think that the EnergyX is a lot more similar to the Endorphin Speed because they're both plated. This one has the nylon plate in it, so it's not as firm. This one does use P-backs, but it's the pellet base versus this one's a little bit of P-backs with some of that TPU foam, and they're both similar prices. However, I think that the overall ride of the EnergyX is going to be closer to the kind of firmer feel that you get from the full carbon plate in the Endorphin Pro. But I think that the Endorphin Pro is a much faster race day ready shoe than the EnergyX, and this would be more of an up-tempo trainer shoe that would compete with the Speed. But I think the Speed is just more versatile shoe overall. Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do any in-depth comparisons with the Floatride EnergyX to any other shoes. So Reebok has finally entered the modern carbon-plated racing shoe market, and this is what they've brought to the table. Is this an Alphafly, Vaporfly competitor? I personally don't think so. However, I do think it is a Zoomfly competitor. I think it slots in really well into that up-tempo trainer plated racer category. And I think some people will enjoy racing in the shoe, just like there's people that enjoy racing in the Bondi X and the Endorphin Speed and Zoomfly shoes like that. However, I just don't think it's that flagship shoe that should be, their 200 plus shoe. And luckily this isn't that though. This shoe comes in at $170, but with Reebok's spring sale right now, I got this for $110. And for $110, this is a great versatile up-tempo plated trainer. So I think at that price you're getting a good deal, but I wouldn't put this as their top tier flagship racer. At least that's my opinion just from the couple of runs I've done in it so far. I'm definitely going to put it through the paces, do all the different run types, and I'll report back to you in my full review. Subscribe so you don't miss that, and as always, keep on running.